All right. My bad. I know I said all right 17 times. This is going to be in the 18th. All right. All right. Here we go. Welcome to Wanna Weed.
We're recording this show on Monday, June 1st.
More helicopters.
We're here in helicopters because if you're watching this later, there are riots happening across America, starting in Minneapolis from the death of George Floyd, who was murdered by a policeman with 3 other culprits. At this point, one of them has been arrested, and about 5,000 protesters have been arrested. Not the other 3.
I would do AKAs and all that stuff, but y'all know our names.
Yeah.
I don't know. I don't want to do this show. I don't want to do this show. I didn't want to do this show. I don't know what to say, and that's one of the reasons. I don't know. It's just, it's a lot going on in America, and people understand that. We understand that, but at the same time, I feel as though black people have the focus right now for once, and I just hope people can wake up. I just hope people can wake up, and it's hard of a pill as it is to swallow. As hard as it is for you to look your aunties and your aunts and your dads and whoever else doesn't fucking believe it's a problem. It's time to change. And I know that sounds cliche or whatever, but I truly believe, and I can be naive at times, but what's that?
I don't know.
What the fuck is it? That I might be naive, but at times, but I do feel like this time feels different. And I feel like people, we've been fed up for a long time. I think it's truly important, and if I'm going to take away anything good from any of this, it's exciting and powerful to see faces that don't look like mine out here fighting with us. And also people, I don't know, man. It's so fucking much. It's so much right now that this show, I mean, I want to talk to y'all, I want to get all my thoughts through to y'all, but it's going to be really hard to even get through this episode, just because it's just a lot. It's just a whole lot. I'm going to let you take it. Yeah.
Well, the other thing I think you can say that's positive, and one thing that I wanted to share, especially with people who maybe are listeners who are all across the country and don't live in a big city, like in a place that I grew up, where you don't know what it feels like in the city. I thought it was important that the protest itself didn't feel like a lot of what you're seeing on television, in my opinion. I think there's a lot of retweets, a lot of coverage of the sensational stuff, of the fires, of the looting, of the burning. For me, showing up to that protest, and you were there earlier than me and at a different part of it, and I had an interesting perspective because I had a bike, so I could kind of go through and kind of see everything. But there are hundreds of thousands of people. I have a 3-minute video of about a quarter of the crowd that I'm riding a bike past. So many people, all different types of people, coming together to march. The leader of the group would say, "Everybody kneel," everybody would take a knee. There's so much peace and so much organization happening. And on my bike, I watched the protests get derailed. I watched the police set something up and separate two groups of people. One went marching through Beverly Hills. The other ones got kind of stuck on Fairfax.
I watched that happen too.
Then there was a cop car that was planted in the middle of the street.
Of course, that was a stage car.
Soon got put on fire.
It wasn't a cop car. It was literally a studio car.
Really?
They were all studio cars.
I didn't notice that.
Those were not real cop cars.
I didn't notice that.
They were studio cars that literally, you saw some that had actual, like, it was a couple. And I'm not saying that there were no real cop cars that got burned down. I'm saying the first bits were definitely studio cars. They didn't even have numbers on top of them.
Yeah.
The other ones, the ones that came after that, first of all, what cop is just driving in, getting out, leaving his car?
I don't know. Yeah,
exactly.
no, exactly.
Bullshit.
Yeah, and I mean, again, I'm just sharing my experience right now, but like, then I went back through as things started getting. Also, I'm a little bothered by the characterization of violent a little bit, because I you know, I guess it's up for semantics whether like stealing is a nonviolent crime or whether
people consider stealing a violent crime.
I don't think it is, or whether vandalism is a violent. So I don't know why they're saying that the protests got violent, because what I saw then.
But you do know why they're saying it.
Well, I know what happened. I know the violence came from the police, because then
but you know what?
I was there when actively all these military vehicles came in, defending literally nothing at all. They weren't around the fire. They weren't around the vehicles. They weren't telling people to go home. They were bugging the peaceful protesters. And then you see a lot of videos where they're not bugging the looters, because they want to paint this picture that the peaceful protesters are bad and the looters are happening, and it's really just them egging on the peaceful protesters and not stopping the looters so they can tell that story.
Yeah, but you know why they're doing that, and it's to, like you said, tell that story. And like, what people don't realize sometimes when they're watching the news, and when you know, as someone, and I'll give you a little insight, as someone that produces television, and I'm on television, it's a production. The news is a production. I hate to break it to you, but the news is a production. It's shot a certain way. It's done a certain way. It's written as well. It's written. I don't know if you guys knew that. These anchors aren't coming from their hearts.
Oftentimes the same script to multiple news departments.
A lot of times they're owned by the same people. So you're going to run with the same narrative because we're pushing the same narrative. Also, we shoot it in a certain way. It's a production. They understand how to manipulate you. They understand how to literally to spark more fear, which then gives more control. And when you're not fearful, they lose control. That's the reason that they've constantly went with the narrative of, you know what, it's nothing but they feel as though the people are actually being heard this time. And they are trying to stop it before it gets out of hand. That's the reason that you can have COVID-19 out here, a real ass pandemic going on, and motherfuckers are really dying from this shit. And yet you let 100,000 people in Huntington Beach gather to protest mask. But then the moment we are protesting just the right to live.
So many cops.
No. And it's not even like so many cops. I want you to also pay attention always to the way the cops are presented. They literally, you know what it is? It's like literally at the Huntington Beach protest, there were cops there. It's not a front, there were cops there. They just were on bikes and shorts. They had on polos, maybe a little helmet here and there, just for the bike though. Get off of it, might take it off my fucking helmet hair. And like literally at our protest, they didn't come with regular outfits on or shorts or pants and to talk to us.
They came at war, like
they
came
in SWAT fucking material, as if we all knew how to make bombs, and they came as if we all were just baby Dylan roofs or some shit. Like they were like all were ready to. We went out there as peaceful as possible. We went out there just to talk, and like you said, you watch the way they even manipulate, protest, and they have their own plant, their implants inside of the protest, their own plants inside the protest. Well, they'll have them directing certain things. When we first protested, because we were there from the beginning, and we started from the park, and we walked through, I watched, and I was like, I wonder who's leading this, because I watched us make a right on La Cienega. If you don't know about Los Angeles, on La Cienega and 3rd, I say you cross that street, and you're now entering Beverly Hills. And they made it right. And I was confused. I was like, well, why wouldn't we be going into Beverly Hills? This is interesting. And we made it right. We went down a block, and then we were about to loop around. And I was like, this is fucking weird. And I literally was like, what's going on? And then Lana was going crazy. She was running throughout the crowd. She's like, you need to find out what's going on. And I was like, okay, cool. Let me find out what's going on. So I just started asking people, like, hey, what's up? What's the plan? I don't know. Okay. Hey, yo, what's the plan? I don't know. What the fuck? Hey, bro, what's the plan? I don't know, bro. We just kneeling right here right now. We gonna just, talk to each other and stuff. All right, that's cool. That seems peaceful. That seems cool and shit. But I've said this before. I'll say it again. They don't care about losing black lives. They care about losing money. So my whole thing was like, you know what? Well, we have to go to Beverly Hills. So I started to direct everybody because I didn't see a leader. There was no leader, honestly. There was no person that was like, I am the leader. Mm-hmm. So I was like, I guess we got to help the people. The people want to know what to do. I'm like, I'm not saying go over to Beverly Hills and deface anything, break anything, riot in any kind of way. I'm saying that if we are to be shooting whatever or we go viral in any kind of way, shape, or form, we need to be in front of their homes. They need to see our faces and know that we're not far from them. And to feel that real effect. And at the end of the day, I wouldn't incite violence and say, go over there and you break every fucking window they got and you loot every fucking thing possible. But also, I don't care if you do that. I think it sends a message. I think they don't want to lose their money. And we've watched a lot of brands step up and through in this time right now and to speak up and say, hey, well, we're with Black Lives Matter. We're with Black Lives Matter. And I thank you. And I commend those brands who truly mean that. I think there are also a lot of people trying to save face who are with black culture and they're with everything. They're with the black dollar and they're with everything but black issues. And they understand that, oh, well, you know what? I don't want to lose my dollar. So I'm going to just say I am on your side. And that's fine too, because if nothing else, it still makes it where you have to change the system. Mm-hmm. Even if you're lying to yourself and you're still a white supremacist in this world or whatever, I'll respect the fact if the thing you care most about is your dollar. So you're able to then you say, okay, well, we care about Black Lives Matter, Black Lives. How convenient of all of you to come out right now and say Black Lives Matter. Yeah, I appreciate you again for the ones who mean that shit. But I also feel like, do y'all actually hear us? Or y'all just afraid to lose something that you care about? Because we're afraid to lose our fucking lives. So any person that's writing me about looting or whatever, or the violence is not the answer, don't fucking start with me, bro. Don't fucking start with me. We had an individual kneel on a football field in the most peaceful way possible and said, hey, this is a protest against police brutality.
And he got counter-protested like crazy.
Counter-protested. He got kicked out of the NFL. Mm-hmm. He has not worked ever again in the NFL.
Mm-hmm. And the executive said today that like, oh yeah, that was why. Because a lot of people were like, well, Colin Kaepernick wasn't really that good of a football player. But the executive, I can't remember what his name was, but there's an article that came out today, and he was like, no, that was what the conversation about, which is a little bit like no shit. But he was like, nobody wanted to take that financial risk. Nobody wanted to stand up.
What'd you say again? The financial risk. So they care about is their money. If you affect their dollar, they will listen. Let me put this down, see if there's anything I could fix. Is it this? Is it that? Are we good? Nucky? It was the second one. Was that yours? Yeah. It was the second one. And anybody out there writing the bullshit that Colin Kaepernick the Minnesota Vikings should sign Colin Kaepernick right now. Suck my dick. Suck my fucking dick. Colin Kaepernick wanted to play football for the last 4 years. And all y'all made every excuse and said he wasn't good. You're not going to use this man as now something to stop the riots and the marketing behind it. Well, George Floyd died in Minneapolis. Let's sign him to the Minnesota Vikings and then everyone can shut up. No. We're not going to shut up. We're not going to shut up until y'all stop killing us, period. And when I say we, I mean me. I'm not going to stop using my platform. I'm not going to stop telling my truth. The truth that y'all continue to try to tell the rest of America is a fucking lie, but yet you've documented it in every way. Like you've been so proud of your shit. You've been an idiot to document everything. It's all documented. If you want to do your own research, you can do your own research and see why. Well, looting isn't the answer. Looting isn't the fucking answer. You looted people. It was the answer then. Well, rioting at the Boston Tea Party. It was the answer then.
There's so many examples.
Why is it not the answer when it's something that pertains to us? When it's simply us saying, "Hey guys, we just want to be heard, we want to be respected, and we want to live." That's it. And we got motherfucking helicopters flying outside right now, and the military, and this is martial law. Because we went as far as to asking for something as insane as equality.
And arresting the cops that still haven't been arrested. That's what, like, absolutely like insane to me, because it's a jury of your peers that are supposed to convict you in America. And we got hundreds of there are probably millions of people going, we need to at least, I mean, we need to accuse these guys all, absolutely, but literally, you guys could just arrest them, like just make a move. And no, we got to protect those three guys. And the response from the White House is insane. And we'll get into all that. And can I say something to white people at the protest? And you can tell me if you agree with me or not. But I think it's great for all the white people to go to the protest. I went to the protest. I think it's good. I kept seeing white people do things that I was a little bit like, and I don't know, you might be like, no, those people are being supportive. But I was a little bit like, why are you bringing a megaphone, climbing up on a pole, and designating yourself as a leader? I saw one attention-hungry dude with a mustache climb up on a pole with a megaphone and start to try to lead chants. And I was just kind of like, I don't know if it's your job to lead the chants. And then I saw people tagging shit like kill all cops. And a black guy didn't tag that. A white guy tagged that with 3 of his white friends. And I was like, I don't think this is what that's about. So I just keep on saying, I saw these surfers loot the surf shop, and they were white guys. I just feel over and over again, like, if you're a white person, you're at these protests, like, I'm mad too, but like, fucking don't be such a fucking white guy and make it your protest support,
and be there for the right reason. Obviously,
yes.
Like, yeah, we want you to stand with us, but we want you to truly stand with us, and not for a pair of shoes or a surfboard or something just so you can get something out of it.
Or a fucking Instagram photo where you're leading a protest. Stop leading the protest.
Yeah, but even beyond that,
I don't know. Maybe you don't. I don't know. Maybe not everybody feels like no. I mean, white people can have their voices, but it was too many times I saw white people like being like, no, it's my turn to lead, and I was like, maybe listen. I don't know.
Yeah, it's your chance. It's your chance to listen. It's your chance to listen, and it's, like I said, as hard of a pill as it is to swallow, you gotta realize you've been living a lie, man. And and I don't know how I can say it any clearer than that. You gotta realize you've been living a fucking lie, and that like I said this earlier, and I mean this shit, because I deal with too much business. I work in business too much. I look at America as a business. America is a business.
Mm-hmm.
These places are businesses. Countries are businesses. They are. I'm sorry, they are. From the money that goes in them and the way they operate everything around. A country's job is to run as a business and to have employees and different things, to structure it correctly, to make sure that it can fuck the flow of the land, right?
Mm-hmm.
America did a great job. If you want to argue for, for white supremacy, they did a great job at building out their business. They built out their business. They went first, got their first employees, never paid them $1. Margins are incredible. Let's start with business talk. Margins are incredible. Margins are fucking incredible. You would install people and you made them work for free. You made them work for free. Then oh man, it's just
then those people started standing up for themselves. So you had to pivot. You had to figure out another way to make them work for free.
Literally, and you had to literally figure out a whole different way to make them work for free. And I don't want to take anything away from anybody. You guys love to think Abraham Lincoln, right? What? He had slaves. He kept his, and all his boys kept theirs too. Slavery still kept going, y'all. I don't know if y'all realize that. After 13th Amendment was not, slavery kept going. It was not like, oh, it's over with starting tomorrow. No, that was for some people. Slavery kept going. Nucky, you are snoring incredibly loud. Hey, Nucky. You got to move from over here. I'm sorry, bro. It's like real shit going on in the world right now. But from there, they had their deck, they had their book, they had the different things they would abide by all their laws and land, and those laws and the land were built, and the establishments and the institutions and everything within it all fell under this deck of sub-tiers. They're baby companies. They're all baby companies within this mother company. So if you look at a LVMH, how they have so many other companies under their umbrella, that's what America has. And different from the judicial system, branches and if you want to look at it, but those are all companies and they run different ways, and all of them were to support the white man. And at the end of the day, I know that's hard for people to really realize or really swallow, because they think to themselves, well, that's all men created equal, the same. In the same.
Then they figure out how to do it with prisoners, and they figure out how to do it with immigrants.
But it's not even that they figured. Yeah, it's been the same exact thing since the beginning. Is they make you feel like progress is here, it's close. Progress is this thing. It's like, oh, it's obtainable. It's right there, and they just rebrand shit. America's great at rebranding shit. They'll fucking, from the civil rights movement. I was talking to my mom about this. I said, y'all blew it. Y'all fucked up, Mom. Y'all fucked up bad. Y'all were the ones who fucked up.
Why?
Because my ancestors before them, they revolted. They fought back. And they understood it wasn't about them. And they were willing to actually die for theirs. For real progress. And if my mother and father's generation did what they were supposed to do, there were some. I also
is your mother and father like the 70s, 80s, or are they the 60s?
60s, yeah.
Okay, I was just wondering what group you're talking about.
No, 60s.
So you're talking about the big civil rights movement.
Civil rights movement.
Okay.
And I think the civil rights movement is great, but I also think civil rights movement. I think if Dr. King was here today, or if he was around, I don't know if he would. I don't even think he would come close to running it the same way. I think we would have got there with him. I think it would have been the scenic route though. I think it would take a really long time. And that was the reason people like Malcolm X or the Black Panther Party had to be destroyed and dismantled immediately, because those people were not falling for the fucking hoopla. That's why you've always had and I was telling, again, I don't want to jump all over the place. It's just that my brain is every fucking place right now because there's insanity going on. But if you're familiar with Booker T. Washington and W.E.B. Du Bois, like even then we had like two leaders, right? And some people would argue, and not necessarily my opinion, but some people argue W.E.B. Du Bois. Booker T. Washington was a coon or Uncle Tom, and he worked for the white man. It was a leadership that they chose for the black.
And
people.
His overall message is like assimilation type, or like work together.
Yeah, he kind of felt like, well, that happened. Now let's not focus on that. Let's fucking work and move forward. I get how people were like, well, that sounds like it, right? Forgiveness.
Right.
And W.E.B. Du Bois was like, no, motherfucker, let's be real here. We did a lot of work. We built this land. We have nothing. Mm-hmm. You owe us something. Mm-hmm. You owe us something. I'll put it in simplest form again. If you go back to business, in business, your first employee normally would have equity.
Mm-hmm. Especially if they did all the work for free.
Even Jeff Bezos' wife walked away with $70 billion. Never had her on the books. But you're my first employee. You're an accountant. I gotta get you something. $70 billion sounds cool. We not even asking for the 40 acres and mule no more that was promised to us. We're simply asking to not die. And people literally you will look them in the face and be like, but they gotta stop killing black men and women, unarmed black men and women, and they'll literally look in your face and be like, but, and you be like, what the fuck? Why is there a but behind? Why would you? What are you about to argue with me? You don't agree that? So you think we should die? So, well, okay, so you're saying that you don't think we should die, but you got a but. Just shut the fuck up. Listen to yourself.
It's a reaction. It's not a like if George Floyd was never killed, if this didn't happen over and over again, like that, it wouldn't have happened. It's a reaction. It's not you guys aren't starting it, And I also think, there's a lot of white people who would like to say what Martin Luther King would do. And you have to remind those people that Martin Luther King was killed. So how well did I don't want to encourage violence in any sense, but like
I'm probably in the same boat as you. I don't encourage violence.
But you just have to also like be aware of what the reality is and what the truth is, and that guy was killed.
That guy was
murdered for being nonviolent. So what does it teach you? I'm not sure. It's pretty confusing. And your business analogy is good. And I keep thinking about your relationship analogy of like, if you're in a relationship with somebody and they're upset, how do you react, Donald Trump? Like, do you fucking tell them that I'm going to, what did he say? I'm going to brutalize you. I'm going to bring all this force against you. Imagine if you reacted that way to your husband or your wife when they were upset or when they blew up or had a tantrum and you said, fuck you, like I'm going to beat you into submission. That is a terrible relationship. Or if you treated a kid as another analogy of a kid in school, if that kid gets bullied day in and day out, one day he's going to snap and you don't react by fucking kicking him out of school, sending him to the principal's office, telling him why he's a piece of shit. You react to him, asking him why he did that and trying to deal with his trauma.
You may react to him like that if he just snapped and he did that. That's true. You may react
like a problem child?
No, I'm just saying that kid snapped finally and did this thing and you were like you pull him to the side and ask him. I agree with that somewhat. My thing I always tell everybody is this. So I tell my son one day if I get one, like I'll tell my son this. Hey, if you get hit at school or you get bullied at school, I want you to go tell the authority figure. Go tell the teacher. You know what I'm saying? Teacher don't do anything. If something happens again, you tell teacher again. Teacher don't do anything. You got the right to defend yourself, kid. Do whatever you want to do. Cause teacher ain't gonna step up and defend you. You got to do what you got to do. How many times have we told y'all?
How many times did you tell the teacher?
How many times have we went to the teacher, and said, "Hey, this is what's going on." But the fact is this. Oh my God.
You're killing my classmates. So at one point I'm going to stand up against the bully and then the teacher's going to be like, no, it's the bully's good. You're expelled. Like it just doesn't, in any analogy it doesn't make any sense. And I mean, obviously this guy in the White House doesn't have a shred of humanity. So he doesn't understand this. He has never been a good partner in any relationship. He has never been a good father in any relationship. And he's never been a good leader in any sense. So,
and all you motherfuckers that are truly like, do I think Donald Trump is a white supremacist? 100%. I also believe Donald Trump is so much of a narcissist that it may outweigh his white supremacy. And I also believe that Donald Trump don't give a fuck about y'all police officers that y'all defending so much either. And y'all feel it. Donald Trump don't give a fuck about them either. He's abusing them and using them. He's putting them in quote unquote harm's way. Is it us? No, it ain't the Black Lives Matter movement. It ain't black people in general doing this shit. And just because you see if you see a black person, if you see one black person, two in the media or on a video doing some shit, and looting some shit or rioting, guess what? That doesn't mean that Black Lives Matter. Just because you have black skin don't mean you Black Lives Matter. Let's start with that. Just because you black skin don't mean you Black Lives Matter. Because you can have your head so stuck up your own ass or be so worried about your white allegiance that you won't speak out. Because we need to start diving into celebrities. I ain't gotta point no actual fingers or slap nobody. I ain't gonna make nobody use their platform. But I also believe it's fucking insane how many celebrities actually profit off the black dollar, or white girls who sexualize black men and they want to open their mouths to suck black dick, but don't want to open their mouths to fucking speak up for black men and black issues and black women and black issues. Get the fuck out of here, man. Get the fuck out of here. Like, get the fuck out of here. And people are fed up. People are fed up. And I'm just happy that we've been fed up for a long time, and we appreciate y'all for joining our fed upness.
I think you're right about his selfishness too, and I also think his entire life he's had everything handed to him. He's had all the money he can in the world to do whatever he wants with it, but he's never had an army, and now it's exciting for him to have an army that he can silence his critics with force. That's something new. And that's something exciting for him just as an individual.
Yeah.
But our plan today was to go through the events of the past few days and talk about them.
That was our plan. It's still our plan.
Do you want to do that or no?
We can. I really want to just like John do that part of it. I mean, I guess you gotta still read it.
Yeah.
It's just so much.
That's why I think that you guys should split it up.
That's why, it's just too much to like it's just too much.
Yeah, no, I think it should go like little section by section, right?
All right. I want to get you out of here though.
So John will go over. So we got John Ross to go over the past few days of events, courtesy of the New York Times. To break down how we got here.
George Floyd protests. A timeline. At least 6 people have been killed in violence connected to protests that started after Mr. Floyd died in police custody. After the death of George Floyd on May 25th, protests and unrest have rocked Minneapolis and other cities. In cities across the United States, tens of thousands of people swarmed the streets over the weekend and on Monday to express their outrage and sorrow during the day. That descended into nights of unrest with reports of shootings, looting, and vandalism in some cities. In New York City on Monday, a curfew put in place by Governor Andrew M. Cuomo did nothing to stop protesters and looters who made their way into Macy's flagship store in Herald Square. In Dallas, protesters were arrested and charged with obstructing a highway by marching on the Margaret Hunt Hill Bridge. The police chief in Louisville, Kentucky, was fired after a restaurant owner was killed when police officers and National Guard troops shot toward protesters. And in Austin, Texas, the police chief said that a black protester who had been shot in the head by officers was in critical condition. Police officers were also attacked in some cities across the country. Officers were shot and wounded in St. Louis and Las Vegas, and officers were injured as they were struck by cars in New York City and Buffalo. Since the death of Mr. Floyd, protests have erupted in at least 140 cities across the United States, and the National Guard has been activated in at least 21 states.
I'm pretty close to Minnesota in a lot of ways. Like my brother-in-law's from Minnesota. I've had a great friend from Minnesota since I was a child, so I've gone out and visited Minneapolis. Probably been there 5 to 10 times. And you know, my friend in Minnesota has been sharing with me the types of texts that are going around and stuff like that. And I just continually see the hysteria within the text. She sent me this long group text that's going around that is talking about I just think the narrative is so hijacked. So
of course it always is.
I pointed out to her, and she's a very smart person. She's a a grad student in the displacement of Native American culture. She's like a pretty woke ass person, but she sent me this big thing to just show me what was going on. And there's a lot of like, attention, St. Paul family and friends, avoid leaving home. Random robberies are happening, and kidnapping and carjacking occurred around 10:15. People are getting jumped 14-1. It's dark out, so please stay home. And then as you read, so then there's like 2:25 p.m., 2:32 p.m. You slowly start to realize they're just small pieces, and I just encourage everybody to like read into the bias, because there are things that say like St. Paul police came across an individual with a stab wound, looked to be self-inflicted. Like, why would you include that in this? It's just to like create more hysteria.
Of course.
St. Paul police are making sure officers are hydrated and accounted for. Sounds like they're prepping for a late afternoon. And I was like, what is this shit? Like, a guy looks intimidating behind Target, but the good boys on the force are drinking lots of water. Like, this isn't an update. This is another piece of media to create hysteria.
I mean, and it's happened not only in, what's sad is it's not only happened within the white community and them like leaning into that and believing that and reading this stuff. In our own community, I've had people hit me and be like, oh man, did you see that video? Oh, they killed that white dude. They killed that white dude outside the store. You like, oh shit, what video? Sends the video. And I'm like, okay, first of all, I don't need you sending this to a fucking group chat. It's like a whole bunch of us in here, and this is not real. Yes, they did beat that white dude's ass. That is a fact.
The guy with the crossbow?
The guy with a fucking machete chasing a child. They cut the video off. Don't show you that part. They just show you literally the video is them just stomping him out. And you're like, they're just beating up some random white guy.
Donald Trump
and
tweeted that guy out. He tweeted the fake news of that guy lying and saying 2 black people beat me up. And if you Google like crossbow protector.
No, not the crossbow guy.
Oh,
completely different guy.
The crossbow guy also had a machete.
I know.
Okay.
I did not know he had a machete. This other guy, I ain't gonna front. They did beat his ass. He got probably seized up, a little seizure or some shit. It was graphic. And I was like, damn, they beat his ass crazy. And I was like, man, I hate to think that people out here doing that, because that's not what the Black Lives Matter movement is doing. And then I realized, oh no, they didn't give you the whole video. There was a longer video. This individual, they said, was protecting a store. In the actual police report, it's not his store. It was never his store. He's just a white supremacist with a machete out in front of a store, literally chasing a child on the video with a machete, trying to cut some dude, and 10 black dudes did see him and beat his ass for trying to swing at some kid with a machete. Also, you guys on purpose, you fucking cut the video together like this to make us think we're just out here, we're animals and we're doing this. I will say this. I say this all the time. Be very conscious, be very aware. And when you see us doing shit, period, just understand this is not our actions, this is our reaction. Period. Point blank, period. From every single thing you can look at in this country, we have reacted to. We have not been the ones that have actually put anything into play. We have not done any action. When I ask every white supremacist who won't answer me obviously online, I've been begging for them to, but my question I posed was, I know all the shit y'all did, and yet we still don't hate you. But what did we do to you? Nobody can answer. Literally, people have been writing me back. One dude wrote, well, are you saying that black people should not like white people? I said, I'm not saying that. I'm saying we have a plethora of reasons that we could at least argue that we have the right to not like you. What is your reason?
In a similar sense, I was thinking about people saying, don't do this, don't fall into your stereotypes, which was interesting to me, because then I went, well, what is the stereotype of the black guy? The stereotype of the black guy is that he's a criminal, I guess. And I started thinking about, well, a lot of stereotypes are based on truth, but then I realized that the stereotype that a black guy's a criminal was just assigned to them.
Yeah, of course.
You know, I mean, I don't know. Maybe this isn't like an incredible moment, but I was like, where did, like, some stereotypes, sure, come from truth, sure. But that one was just assigned to villainize. So when you say don't fall into your stereotype, you're not saying don't be. It's like it's so flawed. It's so flawed.
It's this thing that you called us. It's also a system that you put together to put us in prison. So you can call us a criminal because you understand that.
But the stereotype existed before they put them in prison. You know what I'm saying? Like they started that. They started the black people are criminals. Black people are trying to rape your wife. Blah blah blah. And then they put them all in prison. Then they're like, you see all the prisoners? They're black people.
But no.
It's like black people never got the chance.
Let's even go back there. Let's start with that. Black people didn't rape your wife. That ain't what happened.
Exactly.
They raped our slaves. The wives forced our slaves to fuck them. That was not us raping them. Believe me, we wanted to stay with our families. You broke us apart. We wanted to be with our wives. We wanted to be with our kids. You broke us apart. No. We fucked your wife because she had a thing for big dicks, if you want to be real. And we were naked half the time and walking around and shit. And she saw that motherfucker hitting that kneecap and she said, what's up with it? But she was raping that man. That man didn't have a choice. If you don't fuck the master's wife, what happens? You get beat. You get beat because she had telling you did something else that you know you didn't do. And you ain't going to talk back. Get the fuck, are y'all fucking crazy?
So that just really bothered me is like the stereotype thing, because some cultures have stereotypes that were created by, truth, if we're going to be honest, some like, oh, that people do that a lot,
And I think, since you brought that up, the fucking thought of the stereotype of that we are lazy is the most fucking disrespectful.
I feel that way about Mexicans too. The fact that Mexicans get called lazy, it's like those are the most hardworking people.
1,000%. You call black people lazy. We built this fucking country. I'm sorry if maybe a year after y'all released us from slavery, if we took a break. We was tired of working, nigga.
I also don't know if you did.
No, we didn't. Obviously, we did. We had shit to do.
Yeah. I don't know. I know we're going all over the place, but I think there's just a lot on our fucking minds. You know why?
Because it's the fucking whole country. That's why we're diving all over the place. Because the whole system must be destroyed.
Definitely the police system.
The police system is connected to every other system.
Really?
How? What do you mean, really? Judicial
no,
system. The judicial system is connected to the police system, right? Right?
Yeah.
The military is connected to that, right? It's connected. They're all connected.
Yeah.
You have to reform all of them. We're just starting with the police reform.
Yeah.
And
but the police reform is huge.
It is huge, but I keep saying this. I said that
I like it because it's definable. Like, what do you want? People are saying, what do you want? What can white people do? Blah, blah, blah. To me, it's like police reform is a great place to start because for some reason, these guys took an 8-week course. These police officers took an 8-week course that somehow put them above being prosecuted for murdering somebody.
These individuals took an 8-week course to enforce the law. Lawyers must take 7 years minimum to learn that same law. How would that make sense to you?
Because they got so much other things to learn as well. They got to learn how to shoot a gun, how to do like law. I'm saying that it should be way longer than that.
Way longer.
Also, think about the kids who became cops in your high school.
Yeah, and I was gonna say,
C students.
Normally, and I was gonna say normally, when you look at the stereotypes, as we're getting into it, of cops. Those students are normally a little bit slower than the stereotypes of a lawyer.
And what is slower? I mean, slower is also easily manipulated.
100%. But yeah, it's just so much to dive into, and I think again, I said this before, Donald Trump is the worst president because you guys somewhat had it figured out. And I'm not saying that people weren't already hip to y'all before Donald Trump. People were hip. Donald Trump has just done so much and went so far that even some white supremacists are like, hey, you fucking up my money. Hey, you're fucking up the comfort of my home. And that comes before them niggas I hate.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to fuck up everything that I built.
There's another group of people who have benefited from the white supremacy system, like exactly. So they don't want it to change, but they would never consider themselves white supremacists and never consider themselves racist. And now they're being forced to choose Are they with an obvious white supremacist? A guy who tweeted, "That's not white supremacist, that's Antifa," meaning like that's not the good guys, that's the bad guys. Like, are you with this blatant racist or not? And now people have to actually confront.
And what I want to challenge people to do is like, look, like I keep saying, it's about how you spend your dollar and where you spend your dollar. I challenge you to spend your dollar with people who align with what you believe, and that's just the easiest thing you can do if you want. Number one, if you're a white person and you're asking me, you're hitting me up asking how can you help, look to your left, look to your right, tell one of them motherfuckers next to you, one of them, probably one of them, just from the DNA of this country, probably one of them is not all the way in line with the truth of what has happened in this country, and you can start right there at home. You can start right there within the comfort of your living room or fucking dining room or at school or at the park or wherever, and you can tell that individual that you know who has different thoughts than you or views things slightly different. You can start with them. Secondly, like I was saying, Donald Trump fucked up, and he exposed too much. He went too hard. We've probably had a million other white supremacists, and not millions of it. Probably had a whole bunch of other white supremacists in office. Obviously, they just understood the rules. And the fact is this: Donald Trump is the person he didn't abide by the rules. He's never abided by the rules. So he's never had to play by the rules. Even within his white supremacy, he is not even abiding by the rules. He is doing things to expose the leaders. He's doing things to expose this group, and he's doing it from a place of actual pure.
Donald, it's a secret.
Exactly, it's a secret society, and you're yelling at us. You're yelling, and now people
because he's exactly what you said. He is more important than his secret society.
100%. And now he's forced people who are within the secret society even to have to make statements and be like, fuck. How the fuck
I'd rather not talk
did we
about
let this motherfucker get in office? We were in control. Now our buildings are burning, and the different things we've built are now fucking, they're gone. And we go, it's a fucking mess. And they've had things just under control for so long, and now I just feel as though people fucking know. Like I said, the white man's biggest and first mistake was the internet. We have too much access now, and there's too many ways that people can go read on their own and figure out all the horrific things that have went on in this country. We had we had Black Wall Street, in 1921. Over 6,000 individuals killed, homes burnt. They burned down a whole place just because black people were thriving within this place.
But you shouldn't be violent when trying to get your message across.
Exactly.
Yeah.
We don't look. That's the great thing. Nobody wanted to be violent.
No. Like I felt completely safe at that protest until the police.
No, I'm more saying from this standpoint.
Oh,
we have never wanted to be violent. As Tamika, what's her last name said? Tamika, the young lady that was speaking, I'm forgetting her last name right now. As Tamika spoke up and she said, we learned violence from you.
Dad? Yeah. No.
You brought us here and you beat us. We learned violence from you. And yet you're saying the answer is not violence. It's only been the answer. It's literally only been the answer for you. And we have begged for you for so long and protested peacefully for so long and said, we don't want violence. We don't want any of that. We just want to be able to walk down the street in peace. We just want to be able to walk into a store and not get followed around. We just want to be able to drive our cars and not look over our shoulders thinking we're going to get pulled over and possibly shot. We're asking for simple fucking human rights. And that's the problem. You're willing to watch the whole nation burn.
I think everyone
can not give us simple rights.
It feels to me like everyone can like agree on that. Like they can go like, well, yeah, obviously everyone should be equal. So just like hints for white people who want to talk to other white people. Agree that you guys are on the same page with that. And then dissect how we aren't there with your friends and family, and then talk about how we can get there. Because that seems to me, in my DM experience over the past 3 days, when you can agree on something at the beginning, like, okay, well, here will be our solution, and then let's talk about why we're not there right now, then everybody can be on the same page, versus being like, you're a fucking idiot, you fucking racist. It's harder to change people's mind that way. And if somebody's in your family, a technique I've been using, which I would encourage everybody to use, is I'll do some political stuff, and let's say it's a text message conversation, I'll do some stuff on the side that reminds that person that I love them. So I'll be like, I'll have a whole conversation with them. Then later on, maybe a couple hours, I'll be like, anyway, I cooked this, made me think of you, like, because then you're going like, and remember, I love you, and it's okay to switch sides. I'm not mad at you for coming to a new understanding.
But you know what,
those are just things I've learned as a white person trying to talk to other white people and change their minds. Because oftentimes, whether you can believe it or not, sometimes my instinct gets mad and goes, fuck you. And one time I sent a DM that said, and get your head out of your ass. And then I went, I got to unsend that one, because that's going to stop the conversation right here.
I saw it too quick. I'm joking. Nah.
But then when I got to the end of that specific conversation, it became very much an understanding. So,
but you know, another thing is like,
but then there are people you can't talk to, and I don't know about that.
But also, like, if you're uncomfortable, that's the least you could be. I hope that you're uncomfortable that people are dying. Like, stop being like, oh, racism. Like, I saw somebody post, racism is only an uncomfortable conversation when you're a racist.
Yeah. I mean, or you're being accused of being a racist. I think that makes people.
But you probably did something racist.
Yeah, exactly.
And you didn't even realize it because you've been tricked by this country, and you probably did some racist shit. Sorry.
Yeah, there's some degree of it's okay. Like, you were raised by racist parents, so you have to relearn. I'm not mad at you for changing your mind. I don't know. I'm not telling black people how to talk to white people. I'm just telling white people how to talk to white people. That's things that have worked for me.
Yeah, man. But like, don't be afraid. Don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to part with your fucking family if you have to. Don't be afraid, man. I know that's hard for a lot of you to really fucking grasp. Like, if my cousin was a motherfucking murderer that was just murdering a whole bunch, I'd be like, I can't hang out with this motherfucker. Sorry, man. If I knew a dude that was stealing cars, and I wouldn't jump in the car with him, I might be like, yeah, seems like a bad look. What side are you on? What is your brand? What will be your legacy? You can make change. That's all real shit.
And sometimes walking out the door does make a certain brand of people suddenly rethink things.
I also think about this. You know what's interesting? Just thought about this right now. It's like, you know why a lot of these white supremacist motherfuckers or a lot of these white people hate to hear their kids talking this way, and this whole, they look at their kids as failures. This whole equality talk that they white kids is bringing home right now, they think they failed the nation.
I set things so good up for you. Is that what you mean? Like, feeling like that?
No, more than like, no. I'm saying in real white supremacy.
You're saying like not undertone white supremacy, like KKK
give a fuck
people.
If it's, no, I mean, I'm gonna go medium to large. I'm gonna go middle to end. I'm not gonna go beginning, I guess, if you're like, oh, I did this one thing, or I said this thing, I didn't know that was wrong.
Right.
One time.
Well, I exist in a society that's racist, but I didn't realize I was benefiting from it.
Yeah, but I'm still saying, like, somebody that might be like, I don't care. I don't care, to me, as racist as it comes right now. You not using your voice is as racist as it fucking comes right now as well. It's fucking racist, in my opinion. For you to watch that video and for you to hear the countless stories and for you to be like, this doesn't pertain to me. Some people have bought into the brand of America so much they forget about the brand of humanity.
I also think they forget that those people are Americans.
No, but
Yeah.
but still the DNA, the culture, and everything within it has told them that this brand has told them, hey, our brand operates a certain way. And you forgot about like humanity. You forgot about the human race, man. You're so bought into patriotism and this thing and this country and blah, 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 that you can't even accept that this country got here. This country, first of all, we're one of the youngest countries. We caught up pretty quick, y'all. Y'all ever wonder why? Or how? We even surpassed most countries. You ever wonder how?
A lot of free labor.
It's called the margins were incredible.
For what it's worth, while we're on a small break, I want to tell you that I'm like proud of you as to be working with somebody.
On the show.
No, just to be working with somebody and be friends with somebody who puts their money where their mouth is. I saw you donated $10,000 to LA, $10,000 to Chicago.
And I ain't that rich either.
That's a fucking lot of money, no matter who the fuck you are. And
just to put the scale for y'all, Drake donated $100,000. I ain't that rich. Drake is way more. No, I'm joking. I'm just saying. No. It meant that much to me to be like, no. I saw some celebrities donate whatever amount of money. There was somebody that got caught donating $50 who like is a millionaire.
Yeah.
And gets paid a lot of. No, we can say motherfuckers name. Virgil Abloh from fucking Off-White and Louis Vuitton, the creative director of Louis Vuitton for men's fashion, who's a millionaire, multi-millionaire, donated $50. I didn't have a problem with him even donating $50. I'm never gonna try to shun someone or ridicule someone for donating whatever they can donate or afford. But don't write the words "I feel crazy inspired" and then be like $50.
He also, then I went on his website to see how much things cost on his website, and a keychain,
$50.
A keychain costs $250.
Yep.
So it almost feels self-aware because you know that $50 is nothing if you
That's
sell,
what somebody else.
If
did.
you
I
sell
he did it on purpose
keychains for $250.
And then they started pulling all his fucking pictures and everything, and realized that this dude made y'all feel like he's part of the culture. He is the culture, and he's so disconnected from the culture. And that, he only had, this dude grew up in Chicago. This is a black dude. And I ain't hating on Virgil. I like Virgil's stuff. He makes some cool stuff. I own some stuff. Like, I wish it wasn't the truth. But motherfuckers got to put their money where their mouth is and be real. This same person that grew up in the heart of Chicago and grew up, in I thought in the hood or whatever, same person, you go through his wedding pictures and you realize you only got 3 black people in your whole wedding and you got like 25 whites. You're like, okay, this is why you think ain't no fucking problems. You ain't got nobody around you telling you the truth.
Well,
you grew up in that truth.
Yeah.
Somehow you forgot that fucking truth. I grew up in that truth. I will never forget my truth.
Well, and to keep it positive, like I saw you, which I was proud of, our friend and friends of the show, Chris Red from SNL is starting a fund for protesters who will be hit with COVID because that's gonna fucking happen. I feel like Quinta is using her voice in a great, very honest way, and Keith from the Try Guys, I think is being extremely vocal as a tall white dude from Tennessee, about what's going on in the protest, and I was just like proud to be in that good company. So.
No,
that
man.
made me real happy.
Well, I commend you. I respect you, and I appreciate you as my real brother. Like I sent you, hey, this is what protest I'm going to today. You said I'm there, and guess what? I saw you right there. So I appreciate you also, not just talking it but walking it and getting your ass up, even though you biked. Getting your ass up.
I walked for a while, then I went back for my bike.
I'm joking. Yeah, but getting your ass up and being like, hey, this is not necessarily my fight, but it is a fight that we all have to fight. And that's what white Americans must realize is that, hey, you did this, and now it's also your job to fix it. And that's not, don't get into this bullshit. But I didn't. Nobody said you did. And now that we passed that, you did.
And people get texting me like, be safe and please don't go out. I'm sure okay over there. And I just want to reiterate that I felt very safe until the police showed up. And Anyone who was texting me "be safe" at the beginning, I was so confused about. I was like, "What kind of fucking narrative are you seeing for you to even text me be safe when I'm looking around and I feel like the safest I've ever felt, except COVID."
We didn't know anything until we got in the car to leave. We didn't see. We saw once we got in the car and we drove. We were like, "Oh shit, it really is heating up crazy." But it was again the police. When it was the people, we were great. We watched them also try to separate us, as they've been using this tactic since the beginning of time, since they brought us here. We watched them separate us. We watched literally as we were going, fucking thousands and thousands and thousands strong down 3rd Street. I look back. We waited 8 minutes for our boys to catch up. Then, as they finally got to us, we realized there was a whole bunch of other thousands of people at the light, and they wouldn't let them cross. Yeah, and we were like, "Oh, okay, we see what's going on in this bullshit."
Split them up, and then split them up with riot police,
and then we beat their ass
started
separately.
Shooting them.
Yep. And
as if they were doing anything violent to begin with. There was one fucking car on fire, or 2 cars on fire.
Same thing. They use these
tactics. And then the fires have then the bullets start spraying. Then people are like, "Fuck you!" Then people start breaking things. It's like it's so they and more than anything, it's a playbook. It's a playbook that's been happening for generations.
It's not only a playbook; it's literally a play as well. It's literally we are all fucking extras. We are literally all extras in America's play they've been putting on each year. Year in and year out, we're all fucking extras, and they literally have actors within it, and their actors are the police officers, and they know their roles, and they know the things they have to do. They even have, people with fucking lines who are actually extra. Other people that you think are extras, but they're also paid actors. You're like, "Oh shit, I thought we were all the people. We're all extras. We're all peaceful." And then you realize, oh, one person is spray painting and one person is doing this. And then you realize that motherfucker ain't with us for real. That person went the other way. We're marching this way. Why this person? Okay, they got bricks just out here.
This cop
are these props? They putting props on set?
This cop is really in character.
Yeah. Like, imagine the dude being like, "Oh, I'm not really racist. I just
play one on TV.
I play one in America."
Oh yeah, I'm in America. The musical.
He's made it to the big show. America, the musical.
Yeah, man. Wow.
May 25th. George Floyd dies in police custody. May 26th. Protests in Minneapolis begin and the police tear gas to break them up. May 27th. Protests erupt in cities across the U.S., including Memphis and Los Angeles. May 28th. The National Guard is mobilized in Minnesota. Government Tim Walz of Minnesota activated the National Guard on Thursday. The order came as the city asked for help after vandalism and fires broke out during demonstrations, and as the Justice Department said, a federal investigation into Mr. Floyd's death was a top priority.
Martial law. It's real life martial law. This is insane. This martial law, from when I've been born, it's been like a joke that people would say. Not a real joke, but people would be like, "Martial law's coming," and you'd be like, "This guy, right? Martial law." And the fact that martial law should have been on the bingo board. Well,
also the guys who were like martial law, now instead of standing up and being like it's martial law, they're like, "Martial law? Can I participate? Can I be a marshal? My name is Marshall."
They literally have people marching on the streets now who have nothing to do with this, just bats and random fucking weapons. People were just like, "I want to be involved in this. I'm white. I know I can still go outside." There are individuals who are white who are still walking outside.
And they're supporting them.
Yes.
There's a bunch of people walking through Minneapolis right now that are a bunch of white guys with guns. And the police go, "Cool." So here's my question: is why don't we gonna predict the future one more time? Is it going to be illegal to go out past curfew if you're black, but not if you're white with a gun?
Or is it gonna be police and white supremacists versus the world? Is it gonna get down to a real life war, and everybody's gonna say, "Well, we can't allow that shit"?
Yeah. Another fucking thing about perception to the world, I've seen maybe 3 or 4 tweets that are from international people that are like, "Here's how I see it from far away. The whites want this and the black wants this and blah, blah, blah." And I'm just like, this is not whites versus blacks. This is
everybody
racist versus everyone else.
Yes.
And if you
there are a lot of white allies.
you could see a picture of Arizona Black Lives Matter protest. I couldn't find a black person.
Yeah.
But it was a huge protest.
Hey, if you want to be real, when we first got to the fucking park, the first thing we said, I said, I hate and I love that there are so many white people out here. I hate it and I love it. I hate it because I want to see more of my people. Why the fuck are we not? I know y'all. I know it's Stockholm syndrome. It's literally we've been
hey,
trained and
but Sterling,
and manipulated to believe.
Were you on time?
What?
You were on time though, right?
I was on time. You saying black people came late?
All the white people showed up. They were like, well, we said 12 was the protest.
No, it was packed. I thought we were just scattered around. And it was, how many people do you think were there?
When I showed up, there was like mainly black people, but I showed up an hour late. It was a joke, but I don't know if I'm allowed to.
But also, why were they late? I talked to them about that. I don't like that shit. We're not doing that no more, y'all. That's a stereotype that we not gonna feed into no more. I was on time. I was there at noon. I made sure my friends were there at noon.
I was late, and I felt like it was
So
pretty
you caught up with
even
us.
race ratio. Yeah, because that's why I went back for my bike.
Yeah, no, me and my friends, we got there pretty much on time. I think I only had like one or two friends show up late, but still, it was like they weren't even that late.
I was just making it good.
No, I know.
Yeah.
You're good. I promise you're good.
Yeah.
No, but like, I just don't know what's going on. I don't know what's going on. And I hope that we don't get into a war, but it feels like we're about to be at war. It feels like we're actually about to be at war in our own country. And I know that there's a lot of people out there who think that this is our country, but this is our fucking country too. Get the fuck out of here.
Is like the president really going to be like, I'd like to announce that 75% of people are now considered terrorists. And it's like, hey, maybe you're the bad guys. Also, like, if this guy's really supposed to be, if he's like wants to be a military leader president, it's making us look really bad. And this is not the way to solve it.
No.
By escalating the violence.
No.
It makes us look like we do not have our shit together. If you do think people are going to attack us, they're going to attack us when we don't have our shit together.
Yeah.
Because we're going to join their side. If the military is against us,
yeah, 100%.
as the citizens,
100%. I can see.
I can't believe this guy fucked up.
Who do you
this
think would be
country
an
so
ally?
bad.
To the people.
Like, who would be like the leader of the union?
No, like, who do you think would be, like, what countries do you think would step up and be
would
like.
Would they send over?
Yeah, I'm saying, like, I'm saying, like, what countries do you think would step in and be like, hey, we have to protect the people of America?
Yeah, who do you
think would be an ally?
Japan.
Chris, I know you don't want to be on the side, but I feel like North Korea would definitely step up.
No, North Korea would be on his side, though.
You think so?
North Korea would be on Donald Trump's
I
side.
thought they never actually got the... What, fuck. They fucked.
No, he's on he'd be on the side of fascism, which is Donald Trump is
But I feel
becoming.
like he hates Donald Trump so much.
Kim Jong-un and Donald Trump are little buddies.
I didn't think they were buddies. I think they never became buddies.
They became buddies. They're buds. He talks good about him. Nobody talks good about Kim Jong-un, and Donald Trump talks good about Kim Jong-un.
I haven't. Okay, I definitely didn't know that. That is one thing I've been missing.
Yeah, he weirdly supports like all the dictators in a
Dennis
weird
Rodman,
way.
we don't need you. You can go back to your cave. It's fine.
I don't think. I mean, all those European countries, I'm just thinking they don't have incredibly strong armies.
It's not about that. It's about I'm asking you, who do you think would... First of all, if you're crazy if you think every black person is going to side with the military if they're in the military.
No, they're not.
That's what I'm saying. We will have our own people fighting against our people over there as well. Don't think.
But like you can't pick a country in Africa that has a particularly strong military.
I didn't say that. I'm saying it's a lot of our own people as well. Like
from the military. I get what you're saying.
Yes, and then I'm also saying on top of that, our country is a country that's armed.
Because it'll be everyone.
We have the right to bear arms,
races.
so we have a lot of arms as well. You're not thinking about a lot of arms within these homes. I think that. Oh, wait! You forgot niggas is strapped, super strapped.
I didn't.
Okay, so then we ready to go at war with them too.
I think that to link back to our not sure if it was off air or on air conversation from the beginning, if you did do the gangs versus the country,
not even
the gangs would win.
I think so, but I also
it would be
technology.
It'd be hard.
We lacking on the technology part.
That's true.
That's what we take our hit
resources.
How many niggas is coding? Need y'all to hear. We need a call for coders right now.
I guess I wouldn't expect the UK right now to just jump on our side, because half the people in the UK would be like, I don't know, the guy's got a point.
Yeah, who is the first country to come out and speak about this?
Like,
The people speak to us all the time. About
yeah,
it.
I know Hong Kong is going to be on our side, but Hong Kong doesn't have like an army.
Yeah.
Yeah, who's going to kick in? No, because people will just slowly like just accept that fascism. Like,
Are you crazy?
countries like Russia and China, the really powerful countries, are the fascist countries right now. So if America turns fascist, that's like a tip for the fascists.
No,
Who's another powerful country that isn't fascist? It's just America.
But I also feel like, yeah, I hear you. That's true.
Now I'm
But
high and paranoid.
No, but I also no. You shouldn't be paranoid. This is real life, dude.
Yeah, it's scary.
Yeah, it's scary as fuck. It's real life, though, man. I don't want you to lie to yourself. This is real fucking life.
I hope.
We have to think about it. There goes a helicopter.
And he's already trying to make us not vote in November. It's such a playbook, man. Why can't people see? People think you're being hysterical. That's what the other side thinks. The other side thinks you're being hysterical.
We're watching it happen. It's
Yeah.
not even like we're in the game anymore of like, but that would never happen. It's like it's outside. Actually, you can't go outside. It's happening.
Yeah, you're right. We can't go outside. And now literally we're in the first day of, but white people with guns, you can go outside.
This is just the first day.
I thought
It ain't even got really hot yet.
I had the conscious thought of I need to get a gun yesterday.
White people love outside when it's hot. Oh, it ain't even got hot yet.
Oh, fuck. I didn't even fucking think about that. It's about to get hot.
It's going to get hot
That's such
outside.
a huge factor of violence of when it's hot
It really
outside.
is.
It really
It really
is.
is.
100%. Being honest.
It's about to get hot.
Fuck.
Come on, man.
But also, everyone's about to get COVID. That's a whole nother thing.
Nigga, that's
we're not
what
even
we need to be
fucking
trying to get on our
talking
side is COVID. If black people could get COVID on their side, we'd be in great shape.
I'm glad we
So I'm saying, what if you found out you were more susceptible to fucking COVID if you were a racist? People would stop hating niggas. They'd be like, I can't catch COVID now. I got to choose one or the other. Hating niggas or dying, bitch. I'm going to go with,
I have a pre-existing condition. I can't afford to be racist.
I got asthma.
See, I'm happy we didn't get high at the beginning. Let joke. We talked serious enough.
Yeah, I guess
Now
we did it the
can
right
joke,
way.
Yeah.
I didn't even want to do this.
All right,
show.
you want to
I'm
watch?
here.
You want to watch this idiot do a speech while we're high? Let me have a lighter.
On May 29th, President Trump's looting and shooting message raises tensions. President Trump delivered an ultimatum to Minneapolis protesters on Friday and suggested that the military could use the armed force to suppress riots. On Twitter, Mr. Trump called the protesters thugs and said, "When the looting starts, the shooting starts." He also criticized the city's Democratic mayor. "I can't stand back and watch this happen to a great American city," Mr. Trump said. "A total lack of leadership. Either the very weak radical left mayor Jacob Frey get his act together and bring the city under control, or I will send the National Guard and get the job done right."
So yeah,
Yeah.
so no, not actually like taking any initiative to look like he's talking to anybody about it. The White House also like tweeted like a picture of like we're solving America's problems, and it was a boardroom of the administration. It was all old white dudes. I don't know if you saw that.
Mm-mm.
I didn't really see it talked about very much, but I was like, they don't even know. Like they're not even. I don't know, or maybe they are thinking about it. I don't know.
I don't know, man. Like,
But it's like, how would you think that is solving it? Like solving it like a military?
part of me,
not recognizing the problem.
part of me just like is getting way too like dark and deep in my head, and it just scares me, man. It just scares me even more, and I don't think I'm crazy. That's the craziest part. Is sometimes you think about crazy shit and you be like, I'm crazy though. I made that up.
Right.
I'm thinking about crazy shit right now, and I'm like, this is all about to happen. This is real. This was the whole thing, and this motherfucker conned us all.
Donald Trump?
And he's brilliant, actually.
What do you think he's trying to do?
I just think it's scaring me, man. I don't even want to talk about it.
Think he's gonna make some major fascist moves?
I could definitely see that being the case.
I think it's pretty strange that I think these are obvious fascist moves so far. And at the beginning, people were like, he's a fascist. He has fascist tendencies. And people were like, all right, you're exaggerating. He's not a Nazi. And now it's like he's creating a time when only white people can come outside with guns and retreating into a bunker.
That, like a level of evil that is behind it all, that truly it will like take over, like take over. Like,
yeah,
like a level of like, hey,
like serial killer.
Like literally, we had a whole
evilness.
plan and a team put this together for years before we ever ran. And we went through every rule in the book, and we know how we're protected, and we know what we can do. And guess what? We can win if we do it this way. I promise. It's a playbook. Like in my head, I'm saying in my head.
Yeah,
right
I get
now,
what you mean, but like,
what? I mean, I hear.
But
you.
also, aren't
you.
you looking at Donald Trump every day, being like, you guys, you know, how does this guy know what he's doing at all? But it is a playbook. History does repeat itself. It is 30% of the people versus 30% of the people, while 30% of the people watch.
Which still leaves 10% of the people.
What's happening with the other 9%?
How did you just make them 9?
And that extra percent. No, but like that's if I don't know if we did it on the show or we did it in a writing session, but at one point in the past we were talking about slavery and we were like, how many people actually owned slaves? Like, was it, and like how many people were anti-slavery? Do you remember this?
Yeah.
And the research showed that it was a third of the people owned, a third of the people were abolitionists, and a third of the people were just like, ow. And I don't know. The ratio
about other people who just couldn't afford it.
And that's the Nazis ratio too. Oh, I really believe in it, but can't get a job on a ranch.
One day. Every day.
Working my way up.
One day I'll have a slave. There was definitely people who couldn't afford slaves, dude.
Yeah, there's definitely a guy like.
It wasn't like, hey, sir.
No, but then,
sir, here we stamp your passport, and with that, here's a free slave. There's one free slave with every citizen. Yeah,
but there were people who were like
citizen of America. No, that's not how it went. There were definitely people that couldn't afford slaves. Slaves is the whole thing. You have to have, like, not trying to be funny, like, you have to take care of people and take care of like stuff and feed.
So would you work your way up, or was it just like one day you were like, well, I guess I could get a slave?
I bet it was some people who was too broke to be racist. Like they were like, I get it. I don't have slaves either, guys. I know I'm not a slave. I don't have them either. Can't afford them.
Oh God.
I'm not 1,000. You don't think that was a real person?
Yeah, no, I think it was. I also think the person that couldn't afford slaves, but just had a real passion for slaves, so he like worked on a slave ranch. It's like a fucking idiot.
That's an actual person. That's a person.
It's 100% a person.
That's a lot of those people. Yeah.
Yeah.
And they would always. I'm
just saying, all those people were just Americans, and just like think about, and it's actually not very long ago.
Think about
it's like 150 years ago. It's like a few grandpas ago. Just try to figure out which person you would have been.
They were sick.
And
they would
then
really
think
have
about
like
the person you hope to be.
They would have like black house managers, like the person that watched all this, like the manager of the slaves, to show
like
them
the
themselves.
Samuel L.
Like,
Jackson character.
He's one. Yeah, he was the character. Yeah, but that was an actual person that they would. No, he was just a house nigga. He was like the butler,
but he was also in charge of the rest of them.
Yeah, I guess. Yeah, he was. Yeah, but I meant like somebody. Yeah, I guess. Ugh. Yeah. They were sick. They was like, it's crazy that like us just asking not to die again is too much. if that's not enough for you to take in, just take that in. We're just asking to not die. And motherfuckers is like, oh God. Sir, yeah, I'm gonna ask you, like, I've been working here for a while now. Do you think I could get a name tag on my desk? Like something, just a nameplate? I'm like, oh.
It's worse. It's also, can I just not fear for my life every time I come into work?
Yeah, exactly.
Can you just promise you won't kill me? And then, like, I'll do better work, I think. I'll do better work.
We're fine with the work you're doing.
Fuck. No, not my point. Not my point.
No, I'm joking. I know what you're fucking.
No, I'm saying to the boss.
Yeah.
Like, hey, no, I wasn't saying that, boss. I was saying I just don't want to feel like I'm going to get killed.
Yeah.
Every time I come in. No, dude,
it's
what a weird escalation.
Crazy.
The escalation is if we didn't turn into this, who would we be, right? Jogging. Like the week before, there was the guy who was speeding, and it was like, well, he was speeding. People were like, it did look like a car chase. Maybe he had a gun. And everybody was like, and then the next one is jogging.
Mm-hmm. And they were like,
and there's a clear
we think he went in a house, and you're like, what? Even the dude who owned the house said everybody went in the house to get a drink of water. He literally said that, and said this guy didn't look like he did it. He said, I never told him that. Those were literally people who hunted a man.
And while he was because when you're talking about fearing for your life, jogging. And then the next one is bird watching. I don't know. And I'm thinking of what Trevor Noah said this week, just bird watching and the woman being aware of her privilege, using it as a weapon to call the police, like, and actively using it against him. It wasn't like I don't know. I didn't know. I was scared. It was like, hey, I know what will happen if I do this.
Mm-hmm. And she's a so-called ally.
Right. She said she was a liberal. We didn't talk about that last
We did.
We did?
Yeah, we covered it on the show, I think.
We talked about it. I think it didn't make it in at the end because we circled back to it.
You cut it out?
Uh-huh.
Oh, yeah. That was important. Like, yeah, she called herself an ally, said she was a liberal, and that, like, and we were like, you see? Hey, you person that probably thinks you're not being racist. I'm not saying your heart is in the wrong place. I'm saying you're probably racist.
Maybe think about it.
I don't want to. It makes me uncomfortable.
If any white person cannot really honestly name events in their lives that you go back and you go, oh shit, that was racist, then like you're not really acknowledging it. I don't think. I think growing up white, you look back and you go, oh shit, that was racist. Or that thing my friend's parents told me, oh, that was a racist thought.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, oh.
I wonder if they still think that way.
But you don't want to think.
That was last week, Sterling.
No. It was on a Zoom call.
Oh, God.
Well,
yeah, man.
It's a rough week.
It's crazy. And COVID. Somebody said, damn, COVID lost a 28-3 lead to racism.
I have to pee. That made me laugh.
I literally said shit. That's hilarious. Come right. Oh, COVID had new legs, new energy. Racism came in for the fucking last Kobe shot. 60 points.
I thought of an addition to that, and I still want to vomit thinking about it, and it's not a fun way to end the show. But I'm just saying that there's something that could even overshadow that, and that's nuclear war. And Trump made a decision yesterday that's escalating to it. I'd encourage you to research it, and we'll talk about it on the show next week.
Okay, I'm with that. Research nuclear war, y'all. I'm gonna do the same. I'm scared now. Now you scared me even more.
I'm sorry.
Does any of it even matter? Will we die before we even get there anyway?
I'm sorry, but
guess what? I probably gotta worry about that more than y'all do. Y'all take care.
We'll see you next week for Wine and Weed.
Cheers. Be safe.
And zip it up and zip it out.
Chris has COVID.